Hi everyone, it is a plan with me session. So I didn't do a video for today because quite honestly, I just didn't have time. I don't even know where the month went. But I wanted to get back on track. So the good news is Ben is mobile. He's in physical therapy. Everything is like moving into a positive direction. So I am going to, for the first time ever, just plan. And when I say for the first time, I used to do this planning. It's very simple. There is a free download. So if you check the description below, I made a little worksheet for you. And if you used to follow me on my author channels, it looks very similar to those. So I know a lot of the Plan With Me videos are very like cutesy to show you how to use a planner and all the cute stickers. And I have all those things, but I realized that's not really my style. I'm just a little more utilitarian. And quite honestly, I have many stickers that haven't been used just because I just start doing stuff or I do something else, so I don't really have time to decorate, even though I like the idea of decorating. But anyways, if you are new here, my name is Lisa, and you're watching my Pretty Fabulous Designs channel, assuming I set up this StreamYard correctly. So I'm a little late. I meant to start at 1, then I meant to start at 2, but I am here now. So if you are watching this live, or make sure to just drop a comment or a question in, and I will see it and flash it up on the screen. If you are joining after the fact, leave it in the comments and I will get to it and answer that as well. So I am going to share my screen. I am going to double check. Hold on, I have a laptop here. See if I'm live. I am live. I think so. I am. Everything is working. All right. So I am really excited because I get to plan. Like, I have really been honestly in reactionary mode for was the accident like the beginning of August. So August, September, October. So 3 months just kind of surviving basically. And I know that having a boyfriend that you have to help is definitely not the same thing as a child, but I have a renewed sense, or not renewed, a new sense. I don't know that I really had appreciated all the work that stay-at-home moms do, and or people working with children at home, because it is very difficult when you have to do so many things that somebody cannot do for themselves. And not saying, like, again, that I'm angry about it or at all. Like, I'm very grateful he's alive. It's just I am not prepared as a single person who's never had any kids to really deal with that. And I think other people are much better at doing that. Chrissy at Ombre Rainbow Family. Hey, thanks for showing up. All right. I meant to send out an email as well. We'll talk about that too. I didn't make it. I usually try to send an email out every week. That didn't happen. I am going to try to share my screen. And let's see. I'm just going to share my entire screen. No, that won't work. Just kidding. Let me see if I can share the PowerPoint at least. So hopefully you can see that. Yes, no, maybe. I am closing some windows down. Okay, so let me try to push play. Is that working? Hopefully this is working. I don't know what you can see. The YouTube live, for some reason, is very delayed. Like, I'm still just talking to the screen, the one that I'm looking at. But here is hopefully the slides. We're going to just click through and see if that works. Okay, so like I said, it's a really simple process. There's nothing complicated. I see some of those planning processes like Cultivate What Matters. I love, love, love Laura Casey. I love Power Sheets. I think it's an amazing company. But in terms of like just planning, it's just way too overwhelming for me, at least. And so I have like a very scaled down version that I use that I'll share with you, because sometimes, like, again, like those videos, those Plan With Me, sometimes I spend so much time with the planning process, I don't actually get to do anything. And, you know, all the most beautiful plans in the world aren't going to make a difference if you can't actually execute and create any content. So yeah, it looks like it's working. Okay, so basically I just go through 4 steps. I kind of just think about what I did last month, and not because I know a lot of people are like, what went wrong? what can you fix? And I more just go through it as a rah sort of speech to myself, like, hey, don't worry, last month wasn't as bad as you thought it was. You did get some things done, and things are still moving in a positive direction, because at the end of the month, every single time, no matter what happens, I do not make it through everything I want to do, whether it's my to-do list, it's a project I want to do, books I want to read, books I want to write. I'm just always behind. And it just makes me, as a type A personality, just feel like a failure, right? Because I didn't get to check everything off. And then I see other people with their videos on like, how did last month go? And they're like, I finished 100% of my goals. And so, and I'm like, well, I just feel like a failure. So mine is more just trying to focus more on the positive versus like what I didn't finish, right? Because that list could just go on and on forever. So let's just jump into reflection. So here's all I do. I just make some lists. So I make some quick bullet points on like what went well, what surprised me, and then like contingency plans. So if you have ever worked in corporate America and been unfortunate enough to be stuck on the business continuity planning committee, they always pick someone from every department to be in there. And if you've never heard of business continuity, it just means like, what if there was a natural disaster and there's a zombie apocalypse, or there is a power outage, or anything that could possibly happen to disrupt business, like, I don't know, maybe COVID, right? In theory, this business continuity committee should be able to have foreseen all possible problems and come up with an alternate solution. So I am one of those people who always learns from doing, right? Like, I have to make the mistake first in order to learn from it versus someone telling me, even if they, I mean, there's just too much information out there. So basically, every month I make a mistake. Just it happens. And I then learn from it. So I just make a list of things that I can do so that the same mistake doesn't happen to me again. It's kind of like, you know, when you're single and you're like, should I date him again, even though it didn't work out? Maybe this is a bad example, but I'm always like, there's that famous phrase like, shame on if he makes what was this, if shame on you or shame on him, fool me once, that's what it is, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me, right? Like, you should have known better the second time around. And that's kind of the same philosophy, even though that was a terrible example. So here we go. So what went well this month? First, I broke basically everything down into 3 buckets. And honestly, you probably only have 2. It really depends if you have like a day job and then a side hustle. I kind of see Pretty Fabulous as my day job because that provides all of my income. And then I see author stuff as my side hustle because it provides, I think my draft to digital report last month, I forwarded to my friend Jessie. I'm like, I can't even afford a latte. Like, my books made $2.42. So it's always funny to me when I see, I'm not calling it out, but I see some people and they're like, I made, 6 figures with my book. And you can easily tell based on the rankings of books, like how much they're making. And so I would just always be leery if someone's like, oh, I'm making, $1 million for my book. But what was my point? My point is I'm not making enough from my writing to really make that a full-time thing. So that's why I have so many things going on, probably more than the normal person. And honestly, I could do more and be more effective in each one if I was able to dedicate my time 100%. But I just don't have someone who wants to pay for all of my rent and all of my bills and everything else. So I do have to work, and I don't hate my day job. So, it's not like I'm in a day job that I hate. I still like doing stuff. But if I could, I would shift that a little more so that I was doing a little bit more time with writing. Writing stuff, actually, this was a really great month for writing. I just last night, I became a USA Today best-selling author. So I was part of a 11 author book set called The Black Cat Crossing. And basically, to make the USA Today bestseller list, you have to have about 6,000 US sales, not international sales, US-based sales, in order to hit the list. And that's wide. That means like you're on Amazon, you're on Barnes & Noble, you're on Apple, all the different places that you can buy books. And so that list should be in the paper today. I don't even think I even have a paper. Did I even look? I didn't even check. I should go check that. But so really excited about that. So all of my book covers now will be able to change, and they'll all say Lisa Seifert, USA Today bestselling author. So I'm really excited about that. That was a big win. And that was probably, it wasn't even a goal I had, just kind of happened. And then I finished the book number 2 in my regular mystery series. So the book that was in here in Black Cat Crossing was a short story that I wrote just for that anthology. And then is it anthology or a book collection? Excuse me. And then I was able to finish book 2 in my regular mystery series. And this was Fudge and Felonies. And then this was sent out to 40 readers, like advanced reader copies for reviews. So that book doesn't actually come out till next month. But I sent the ARCs out ahead of time because that's the date that I had with another service that I use. So I also run the Cozy Escape Book Club, which is a just group of, it's free. It's just for anyone who loves talking about cozy mystery books. And Courtney and I like lead that together, and it's really fun. And it's very low pressure, right? So Courtney and I usually try to get from the author a book to give away to the group. And for this particular month, the author that we're reading has no other books. It's like their first ever book. I shouldn't say that. They have romance books, but we don't give out romance books because it's a cozy escape, our cozy mystery club. So I was able to check with the publisher, and they are going to give a paperback book giveaway to someone in the book club discussion. So that actually is usually the last Wednesday of every month. But because I guess there's a major like freezing sleet and snow in Oklahoma, which is where Courtney is. And so we weren't able to do the live stream discussion yesterday. So if you wanted to, and you wanted to win this book, you could join us for next Wednesday, same time. All right, what else? I read this month's book. I know it's like a small little thing that I could like check off, but I do think it's important when you're an author to read other books in your genre from other people. And this is totally something I would never read. It's a historical cozy, which is not really my thing. And it's written in third person, and it does a lot of head hopping, which means that the POV sometimes switches from one person to the next person, and then 2 sentences later switches to somebody else. So it was really difficult for me. So I took notes on it, which I actually do a lot, just so when we have our book club discussion, I kind of remember what's going on, especially, which I'm glad because it's not till next week. So that's what I did. Let's see, what else did I do? I released 16 new dated templates. So if you've been following me here on the channel or you're on the mailing list, hopefully you were able to buy those all at release week prices. And I also did, all of the digital planners that went with those. I sent out 3 out of 4 newsletters. So I was trying to send out a newsletter every Monday, but like I said, nothing went out this week. It just didn't happen. And that's why if you're here, it's just a miracle you're here. Otherwise, I did not see it. So, or you did not see today's session go up. I did announce it on Monday when we were doing our live streams. So the new website went up, kind of, sort of. So I have designed, so this is kind of funny, the website. I had like paid someone to do a website, and I didn't like it. And so then I made my own, and then I had someone code it for me. Anyways, it's still really not done. You'll notice that some of the links are like, there's nothing happening. I do need to fix that at some point. It's not even on the list for November, but it probably should be. It's just hard with like all the other things that I'm trying to do. So that's why I say it went up, kind of, sort of. I wrote a guest blog post for my friend Jess, which is over at, I put it right here, heyjessica.com. And I love Jess. She talks about all the things that you would ever want to hear about if you're an online business. And I just guest blog on her blog for just digital products. So finish that. I also posted 6 videos to YouTube. I was mostly just surprised that I had time to do those. Again, I was like very much in a reactionary mode for last month. I also do videos for another channel for Read Bliss, which is owned by Harlequin. So I was able to get that up in time. And I also held 4 virtual co-working sessions, which hopefully you guys enjoyed. I know I like doing them. And plus, I'm not on social media anymore, so it's really the only way to try to connect with me. If you have questions and you don't want to ask them in email or wait for my email, because my email does get flooded, and honestly, sometimes I just do miss things. There's just so much going on coming across my inbox, and most of it is like just crazy questions, right? So like, hey, I have a vacuum cleaner. Would you sponsor it on your channel? I mean, sure, if you want to send me a free vacuum cleaner, my audience is probably going to be like, why are you doing a vacuum cleaner review? But anyways, so I'm going to actually continue those for next month. Even though I didn't put that as a goal, I feel like that's pretty easy to do. I enjoy it. So you can always plan every Monday from noon to 2 Pacific Standard Time. I will be around and we can get some work done. I created a new lead magnet, which was just trying to help people decide whether or not they should create a course or have a membership, like which one is best. Because I know when you're first starting out, you're just not sure which one is the right one for you. And then for personal stuff, we hired a housekeeper. Although, I mean, I was really excited that we had a housekeeper. However, I wonder if her house was way too dirty because she has ghosted us since then. We tried to get her to come back again the next week. She never responded. So we might have to look for a new housekeeper again, but she was fabulous. So I am kind of sad about that. I did a branding photo shoot, and honestly, I wasn't ready for this. It was the wrong time for everything. We'll see how it turns out because I am terrible at doing my own makeup. And I tried like 4 different makeup artists. It just wasn't working. And each of those trials are expensive. They were like 150 or 170 each time. So fingers crossed that they look okay. It was really nice because I was able to split the day with my friend Camila, who you can see here in the background. And Meg is the lovely blonde woman in the photo, and she is the photographer. And so even though I wasn't ready, we just did it because one, we had already planned this for like 4 or 5 months out, or probably, I think even longer than that. It was like way before COVID. And on top of that, Meg is 8 months pregnant. So we didn't do it now. It's going to be like another 6 months before we could get on her schedule again. So just tried to kind of force it, make it happen. Fingers crossed, we'll see how the photos turned out. And then also I was real excited because I was able to fit in a weekend getaway to Lake Arrowhead, which if you've never been there, it's only, I think, 2.5, 3 hours from here. Depends with traffic. It did take us like 4 hours to get there. But Lake Arrowhead, I had no idea, is where I guess a lot of people who do ice skating or skiing or something like that go up there to train. And so there's all these huge, magnificent like houses there on the water. And so one of my friends had gotten married, and people aren't really doing wedding celebrations anymore. So she just invited a bunch of people up to hang out for the weekend and just celebrate their wedding with them. So that was really nice. And then also, I cat sat for my friend for 5 days. So I know it's like little things, but they're like, again, like I said, this is more like a pep me up speech to be like, you didn't waste all your time last month. You kind of got some stuff done to kind of like pep yourself up, right? So that's why I went through this whole list. So the next thing is I kind of go through what surprised me. And I see your comments. I will definitely check in as soon as we get through this first step. But what surprised me was, and I never say like what went wrong, because I feel like things that go wrong are things that just surprise you. Like obviously you planned for nothing to go wrong, but something surprised you, like Ben's accident. That was a surprise, right? COVID, it's a surprise. I have altitude sickness, which is, I've always been to, I guess, places that are at sea level. I don't know. I mean, I've traveled all over the world. I can't imagine that I haven't been somewhere high up. I've even been in Denver for work. Or maybe it's just recent that I have altitude like sensitivity. Like I was like lucky here in this picture. I was out for the first 24 hours of that weekend in Lake Arrowhead. I was just like, I've never had altitude sickness. It basically just kind of feels like you're hungover. And you knew for sure I wasn't hungover because I haven't drank anything in like over 10 years. So the cure for altitude sickness, if you're wondering, is just to go to a lower depth, right? Just go back down to sea level. But I wanted to stay there for the weekend with my friends, and it was crazy to just leave. So I just waited it out, and in 24 hours, it was just magically gone. Same thing, our dryer broke. I think I told you guys, like I had a meltdown the other day, like the microwave broke, the dryer broke, the dishwasher broke. I was like, I cannot do all this myself. So anyway, so the dryer was the biggest thing. It couldn't be fixed. And so, at the laundromat, I discovered that they need quarters. And I discovered that there's actually a quarter shortage going on right now because of COVID. It seems a little odd, right? That like how all of a sudden are people like hoarding quarters? Like, I'm really not sure where the quarter shortage is coming from. I didn't know that, new quarters had to be put into circulation so often in order to prevent a coin shortage, but apparently that is the case. So anyways, so that was a little bit of like a surprise. How about that? It was a surprise. As well as like, so just in general, like a surprise is I have anxiety attacks, which is really weird. I never had anxiety ever in my life until like 2 years ago. And it was specifically after I had a surgery to remove one of my fallopian tubes. I know this might be too much TMI, but nothing was ever wrong. But I really think like something happened during the surgery. I don't know if anyone else has had that happen. Like, write me and let me know. But I also have cyclic vomiting syndrome. So these were like also like surprise, like things that come up during the month that I have to deal with. But also, I thought it was a CVS symptom, like cyclic vomiting syndrome, but I discovered that I actually have occipital neuralgia, which I don't know how this happened, or nobody knows where it comes from or and there's no cure, but you're not going to die from it. If you don't know what it is, it's basically just your occipital nerve is right by your ear. And so I just have an inflamed nerve. And so when it flares up, it just feels like, I guess they'd call it like a migraine. Like I have this splitting headache and I feel kind of nauseous, which again, I thought was just maybe my CVS symptoms. So it's just something that you kind of live with. So that was a surprise as well. So let's talk about contingency plans. And I really just do that for the surprises that are new, that come up every month. And the first one is altitude sickness. So I just know now if I'm going to go hang out somewhere that is at a higher altitude, I just need to go a day early. That's it, because I need a day to recover or get acclimated to the altitude. And if you can see here, I really wasn't that high. It was 5,000. If you read the articles, they're always like, you usually don't get altitude sickness until 10,000. And the thing is, I do cardio like almost every day. So it's not even like I have pretty good VO2 max. I have no idea. I guess I just have altitude sensitivity. I mean, everybody's different, right? So just something I have to keep in mind. I now have $50 worth of quarters over in my house. Why? Just in case, like if anything happens to the dryer or the washer again, I am covered. So I know it sounds silly, but there's no reason I cannot just hold on to $50 in quarters as a just in case. So that's what I have right now. Advil. So I've stocked up on Advil. I bought some heating pads for the occipital neuralgia. And so that's kind of like my contingency plan. So basically, that's what I do for reviewing the month. And then we'll go over the next step, which is deliverables. But let me check in and see how you guys are doing. Chrissy, it's very hard to focus with constant distraction of children. Thank you. Yeah, it is. I'm sure, like, even when I talk to my friends, I can't even make it through a conversation because they have children that need attention. Lisa, I can see it. Thank you. Although I'm constantly debating about getting back together with my ex-boyfriend. That speech, right? I know. I used to do that too. I can confirm to you, I am 46, right? And I have dated, obviously, many people. I shouldn't say obviously, but I have recycled exes a lot. And I can confirm 1,000% it has never, ever worked. In case you're like thinking about, like every time you're like, oh, I'm kind of lonely, or this other guy isn't really doing it for me. This isn't, like, and you just kind of go back to the familiar and you're like, well, maybe I just didn't, I don't know, I didn't try hard enough, or, maybe I could be more easygoing, or maybe I just have too of crazy standards or something. I don't know. These are all the rationale that you're thinking in your head. So anyways, if anyone here is thinking about going back with their ex, I would say, just move on, just keep going. Just don't do it. All right. Chrissy, congrats. Thank you. I'm assuming that was the comment about the USA Today bestseller. Congrats. Are you accepting new writers into the club? Into the club. I don't have a club of writers anymore. So I used to help writers all the time, but I don't do that anymore. I think that's your question. Do you know of any co-working accountability type of groups? In San Diego, we've chatted before. I'm in La Mesa. I don't. I have zero success with masterminds. And I don't know if it's just the nature of like my personality. I know that I am not good at team sports. So I always am good at individual sports like gymnastics or swimming, um, track, things where I'm just doing it by myself. So it could just be me. But yeah, I don't know of any just because those aren't really like my where I do well or where I've really like found a group that I click with. So accountability, like even when they have group coaching options, I always, whoever I want to learn from, I always sign up for one-on-one coaching. And it could also be because I'm an only child. Like I'm just used to having all the attention on me. I'm not really sure, but I know that was an awful answer. But yeah, that's all I got for you. So if I knew one, I would check. I'm co-working tomorrow with my friend Camila. I can check with her. She actually has a group. She does a ton of group coaching. You could actually check in with her. She is Heart Behind Hustle. So you could look her up. I know she has some programs that she's always running. Rutina Wilson, will you help me design mine if I give you yours for free? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Sorry, this is what happens when I see comments later. Let me know what you want me to design. I am actually not good at one-on-one custom design either. You're like, are you good at anything, lady? I just lack the ability to translate customer needs into like something tangible because I think I lack not empathy, but intuition into like what somebody truly wants. Like, someone's saying one thing, but they really want something else, right? Like, hey, I'd really like us to go to the movies. But really what they're trying to say is they want to spend more alone time together. It just totally goes over my head. So I think that is why I'm not very good at one-on-one design. That was a very long answer, right? Chrissy, also, I have a local housekeeper I can recommend for you. Oh, yeah, please. Yeah, thank you. So I don't know why she ghosted us. Also, La Mesa has my favorite sushi place, Bamboo. It's a Bamboo. And the sad thing is nobody likes it. I make all my friends go there and they're like, we don't like it, Lisa. So no one wants to ever go with me to Bamboo. But yeah, La Mesa is very close. Okay, Della. Ciao a tutti from Italy. Bello, everybody. Nice. I started watching Emily in Paris. They should do like I don't know, Samantha in Italy. Maybe not the name Samantha, but I think it would be fun. I really like that show, which I didn't think I was going to like it because I wasn't too into the pilot, but it definitely picked up and it was super cute. Ciao. Dala, nice live. I discover very interesting. Great. Britt. Hey, Britt. Chrissy, you can use one of those quarters for the Aldi shopping carts. Yeah. It's funny in Illinois, or maybe it's just where I was in Illinois and Chicago, you don't need a quarter to use the Aldi shopping carts. They just have those really tall, I don't know, just like a pole sticking out of it. So then it can't be taken out of the grocery store, if that makes sense. Like it can either go from the shopping cart holder into the grocery store and then right out, and that's it. But you don't have to pay to use them, but you can't actually cart them to your car, if that makes sense. You have to just grab your groceries, run them to your car, come back to the cart, go back and forth. So yeah. Chrissy, we're almost the same age. Love that 80s music is now the new classic rock. I hear it everywhere. I did not know 80s was classic rock. Yeah, it's funny. I'm not really into 80s music. I mostly just look back at all those awful pictures where I had like green eyeshadow, like blue, electric blue mascara, which luckily I don't have like eyelashes at all. So hopefully no one even saw them. But yeah. 80s. There are some 80s songs I like, but for the most part, I'm a 90s girl, even though like I grew up during the 80s. I like try to just identify with the 90s. Those are my favorite times. Britt, I thought you were 31. You look phenomenal. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I am totally 46. Let's see. I have that one hair. Did you ever do that? I can see it flipping out. Okay, intuition. Do you know what your Myers-Briggs type is? I do. It keeps changing. I used to be ENTJ, but I am now INTJ. But even then, I think the N, even though it is N, is like very close to the middle. You know what I mean? Like it's not like very far over. Chrissy, also, I like bamboo sushi. A lot of options if you're particular. Yeah, I don't know why people complain. And they also make, there's one friend we have who only likes fresh, what's that green stuff? Wasabi, which I didn't realize the paste wasn't fresh. So they'll like mix it for you in the back. They're at Bamboo. I'm not a wasabi person, but yeah, I mean, they seem really good. Okay, Dala. Here in Italy, it's 10:30 p.m., so I go to bed. You gave me the inspiration to plan November. Hello to everybody. Yes, it is very late in Italy, especially on a weekday. All right, particular. Yep. Okay, into your particular, I got it. All right, so let's go back to our slide. So I always talk about deliverables. I am like, just so you know, I am like an anti-goals person. I used to talk about goals and I always felt kind of like dorky. Like, why am I saying that? I kind of feel like a fake talking about goals at all because I'm not, and I don't even consider myself an entrepreneur, right? So I see other people, and like Camille and I will talk about this because I think she's like a hardcore entrepreneur, and she'll be like, "What are your revenue goals?" I'm like, I don't have any. I don't want to think about them. Like it freaks me out. Like I just want to like do stuff, right? Like, and if people pay me because they like it, great. And if they don't, then they don't pay me, and I'm clearly doing something wrong, and I will just adjust the next month. So I think the reason I never ever resonated with any of those messages, like you're trapped in this day job, or like people have told you that you're doing it all wrong, right? So I just kind of think that's silly. Like, I don't think, can you even see me? Oh, I see it. It's happening. I think it's silly to just be like, I hate my job and that's why I want to start a business, because you have to work really hard on your own business. And if you cannot work really hard, in my opinion, at something that maybe you don't enjoy doing or working with people who aren't the greatest, then I think you're going to have an even harder time during entrepreneurship. It's not like you're just sitting around watching Netflix and just kind of working 2 hours a day when you want, or like Tim Ferriss's The 4-Hour Work Week. Like, I can't remember the last time I ever worked 4 hours, right? So to me, I've always thought of myself as someone who just does stuff, right? So that's why we're going to talk today about deliverables, which is what I 100% just focus every month on. So the reason I just don't like goals is because I kind of feel like I have 100% always trained people on how to do their goals. Like I say silly things like, believe in them, make them bigger, make them smaller, make them more realistic. Like I'm just spewing out just garbage basically every month that I'm teaching these courses. And not here, like back in corporate America when I did HR and during the year-end review process, right? And I have to help employees make goals and help department heads make goals. And I was just, every time I talk, I'm like, I can't believe people are listening to me and taking notes. This is like the biggest bunch of junk that I've ever said in my life, right? Write them down, break them down, right? They seem all logical, but honestly, I think they're all just useless. So instead of goals, what I like to do is just focus on deliverables, right? Like, at the end of the day, at the end of the year, the people who do the best and the people who get the raises are not people who were goal focused. They're people who are able to show results by getting things done, by getting projects finished, by getting new hires brought on board, right? Like they're people that actually have deliverables and tangible outcomes that they can show in their year-end review. And those are the people that get promotions and get salary increases and get promoted to vice president and all of those other things. So to me, that is really where even just now, that's where I focus. That's where everybody else should focus. So if you're in your workbook, if you just look, I have created a box for 6 deliverables because I feel like 6 is pretty much the max, honestly, like in the last few months of what I can really accomplish each month. So for me, if you're wondering what I'm doing, I have broken mine up into a few sections. So the first is pop-up shop planners. So I am planning to do the self-confidence planner. I think there's still a comment up there. Yep. All right. Just kidding. I'm planning to do the self-confidence planner, and I'm also planning to do the holiday planner. And I'm cutting it really close because the holidays are going to be here any day. So it might be hard to sell that, but I'm definitely doing the self-confidence planner first because that's what I promised. So these, I always put these as goals, like for sure I could get these done. Like, because I feel like sometimes when you're like, maybe I can do it, maybe I can't, then you almost don't get them done. But realistically, I know these other two programs I want to do are maybes because they're so huge. So the secret project for the beta course is a maybe, just because it's so massively huge, and it requires, I don't even have someone to design the sales page or code it. I haven't even sent the information over to the copywriter. I haven't sent the information over to the person who has to help me write blog posts. Like nothing has been done yet. And then the second one, the Lookalike Layout Club, I haven't even thought of a new name for that yet. And my lawyer just moved to Tennessee, so I don't even know if she has time to look at it. And again, I haven't designed the sales page. I haven't written the copy for this. So I am like really behind. So that's why I'm saying these two are like maybes. I'd like to get them done, but we'll see, like, honestly, how the month goes. For sure, I will be able, I know I can get 6 videos out this month. And I know that I'm going to do the co-working live streams every Monday. For author stuff, I know for sure I can finish book number 3 because I'm already 30,000 words into a 50,000 word draft. I know that I can outline book 4. And honestly, I would probably wait, but I noticed that if I wait to outline the next book, I like totally forget what was going on in the other book that I wanted to put into the next book. And so I'm just going to at least write the outline. I probably won't, I definitely won't start drafting it. And then I owe Reed Bliss another video. And I also have a secret project that I'm working on that I need to get that outline done. So that's kind of like how I've divided up my month into what do I want to deliver. So when I review the month again, I can say, here's what I accomplished. Now, within there, I always try to do a to-do list for each of those deliverables. So for example, we'll just run through one. I won't do all of them. So for the self-confidence planner, I know that I have to do all of these things. Like I have to write the sales page, which I haven't done. I have to set up Podia. I always create the bonuses first. And this is kind of the order I go in. Then I do the social media images. I create the actual planner next. Then I create the JPEGs. I create the digital version for GoodNotes. I draft emails that can go out to people to say, hey, I'm going to go live. And it's ready. Here it is. And then I need to schedule the live stream to actually reveal it and show it to everyone. I need to set up a timer. So I need to decide when that launch day price is going to go away, or I guess I should say launch week. And then I have to update the website to show that there is a new planner. So the same exact steps are for every single pop-up shop. So I kind of have this down to a science now. And typically it takes me about a week to make it through all of these items. It varies just based on, I guess, my creativity level. I think when you do creative things like writing and everything else, you do have to force yourself. You can't wait till inspiration takes over. However, sometimes the ideas and designs flow a little easier than other times. So it really varies. All right. I have given you inside your workbook a to-do list that you can write down for all of your items. And again, these are, I didn't number them because I kind of feel like sometimes when you're doing stuff, you can just jump around depending on what you feel like doing, but at least you know all the activities that need to get done. So the third step then is I look at my calendar. So I try to look at major dates first. So I do 2 things. The first thing is I put down everything that I have to do or work around. So if you look at this schedule, I know that I want to get out the self-confidence planner next Wednesday, November 4th. And that's because on Thursday and Friday, we have to be out of the house just because it has to have some, like I told you, all those appliances are broken. So we just have a lot of things going on in the house. So I'm not going to be able to work on anything. So if I miss that November 4th deadline, it'll definitely have to be the next week. November 9th, I need to take an exam. So I'm actually doing, I don't know if anyone knows this, the Funnel Gorgeous Society has, or it's called the Funnel Gorgeous Society certification. And it's through this Julie and Kathy, I can't remember the last names, but I really like them. Like, I love their philosophy. I think they're very smart. And they have a certification exam because I don't know if you guys have noticed, I pretty much just focus on design. And just like I said, I don't have revenue goals. I don't do any paid marketing at all. And so I really just thought this is silly that I'm like basically afraid of marketing sometimes, because two things, I'm always like, if you like it, just buy it. If you don't, then don't, right? But like, could I grow? Or more importantly, could I help other people grow if I just took a little bit more time to learn about marketing and sales copy and design? And so that's basically what I'm doing. And so my plan isn't really to work one-on-one with people with the certification once I'm done. It's really to take those principles and apply those to everything I'm creating, right? So like when I say, I'm going to help you create and sell planners, or I'm going to help you create and sell notebooks or digital planners or something else, can I really help you sell that? I don't know that I can right now. So I kind of know some tips and tricks like everybody else does, but I think, holistically running everything through a sales funnel or knowing what type of marketing to do, whether it's a pressure launch or a power launch, what kind of copy you need, short copy, long copy. I don't know that I'm well versed in that enough to speak eloquently enough to help people to really get to that next level. And so this is an exam that I'm taking. This will actually be the last part of it. And then after that, after November 9th, I should be certified. And then in theory, in January next year for 2021, I should be able to elevate all of my marketing material. And not like how I'm selling, but how I'm helping you to market your stuff. So November 13th is the release day for that book number 2, the Fudge and Felonies, for my author stuff. Also, the draft of book number 3 is due to my editor the week right after that on Monday. I want to release the holiday planner on the 18th. I would like, and again, those last 2 are maybes, I'd like to open the beta course on Monday, November 23rd, which is the week of Thanksgiving, but really early because, again, it's just a beta. I'm just trying it out to see if anyone's interested. And then on the 30th, I'd like to open up the Lookalike Layout Club. So again, those are like maybes. So let's go ahead. I'm going to share with you the kind of how I plan. So let me figure out how to share. Do you guys have any questions? Chrissy, I'm an INTP, but my N score is fairly high on the NS continuum, which makes sense. It's easier for me to relate being a thinker and not a feeler like a fair amount of other women are. Yeah, that does definitely help. Sorry, was still adding my intuitive score helps compensate for being more of a thinker than a fair of some. I give up. Well, yeah. And sometimes it's hard when you're typing really fast. I totally get what you're saying. All right. I am going to share my screen. So let me try to share. I'm going to just try to share my entire screen. Oops. All right. So you see a weird picture in picture. Okay. So over here, so I just want to show you my calendar. So what I've done is if you look at this calendar for the month, I've blocked out all of those big dates I was telling you. Oh, I didn't do my book release, but I've tried to block out the dates: the self-confidence planner, the holiday planner, the society certification exam, the open beta course, the Lookalike Layout Club. And then what I've done is I always try to do an ideal week. Like, I think I don't really focus on habits. More so, I just try to focus on building those habits into my schedule. Now, I don't repeat this every week just because 2 things. One, it would just drive me crazy to see like my calendar so blocked out. But 2, I also am very high on consistency. If you've ever taken the Clifton Strengths Finder, that is actually my #1 strength. So if every day was like Groundhog's Day and we didn't even have Saturday and Sunday, I would be very happy, like just repeating everything over and over again. That would drive other people crazy, but that actually makes me very happy, and I excel at doing that. So if you look at the schedule here, basically what I'm doing is on Sundays, every single day I go to the gym. Like, that's how I start my day, period. I'm not saying I have a rock star workout every day, but I definitely make an effort to try. And then I shower and I get ready. Now, on Sundays, I try to film my YouTube videos. So I say it takes me about 2 hours to get ready, just to make sure the hair is in place. Like I said, I'm awful at makeup. It takes me like twice as long to do makeup. I try to write every day. So usually on Sundays, honestly, maybe I get just a few minutes in, not even an hour. And then I go ahead and start filming and editing videos for the whole day. And I just kind of do that. I said it ends at 5, but I usually just try to do it until I get tired. Now, Monday through Friday look exactly the same for me every single day of the week. So it's the gym. I block out an hour to shower and get ready for the day. I do 3 hours of writing. And then I kind of take a long lunch. So some of these are like all the grays are buffer, like downtime. So, the cat needs to be played with. He's like a very high maintenance, active cat. Plus, he's still a kitten. And then I like to eat lunch and relax. And then I basically kind of morph that into my housework, right? So I vacuum, I do the laundry, I do the dishes, like all that stuff. Plus, I need to run errands. Like if I need to pick something up at the dry cleaners or return something or get groceries, right? I try to do it during that time. Because in theory, I mean, not now because of COVID, but in theory, most people are still at work during that time. So the grocery store is not that crowded or wherever I need to go. And then I come back home and I actually work until all the way till 7. So that's when I try to do all of my Pretty Fabulous design stuff. I try to answer emails. I try to answer comments on the YouTube channel or just do whatever it is I need to do for Pretty Fabulous. And then around 7 or whenever dinner gets here, this has been a huge help. Then I will just kind of take the rest of the day off, relax, have some dinner, watch TV. And then from 9 to 10, I will just read and then go to bed. So that's my day every single day of the week. And it makes me very happy to do the exact same thing. And on Saturdays, it kind of looks a little bit like Sunday, except there is no YouTube video filming. And I kind of like to leave those open because I'll meet somebody for brunch or I will sometimes honestly just do nothing, especially now with COVID. But I used to do, that was like usually my social day with my friends. So that's what I do. I try to do an ideal week. I block out all those major dates on my calendar so I kind of know what's coming up each week that I need to plan for. What else? Oh, so for trackers, so we'll talk about accountability. I put on your sheets those, let me just bring it over here. So on your worksheets, I basically did for each of these deliverables, I just did a check mark here. So to me, deliverables are either a yes or no. There's all this dissection of why didn't I do it? Like, what kind of stood in my way? Did I not? I mean, at the end of the day, like, especially as a hardcore New Yorker who worked in corporate America, nobody cares, right? Like, nobody wants to hear your excuses. Nobody wants to hear your whining. Either you did it or you didn't, right? And so instead of like debating that and analyzing yourself, I just say like, you didn't do it, whatever, either make it a priority for next month, or maybe it just wasn't important enough that you weren't able to do that. And also I put here deliverables, just like example, like write a book versus become a best-selling author. To me, like, again, goals, if I had written down instead of a deliverable to write a book and wrote a goal to become a best-selling author, that's so like, I don't know, is the word esoteric, like just so far out there and untangible and like just float. I don't know. It's like, I don't even know how to start doing that. Like it's too overwhelming. I'm not motivated and I probably will do nothing versus write a book. I know how to write a book. I know I can break it down to an outline. Like I need I guess deliverables are things that I can control versus goals a lot of the time are dependent on others or the universe or the fact that like there's not a snowstorm and electricity has gone out, right? So those to me, that's why I always try to focus on deliverables. So anyway, so that's why you have a check mark next to each one. And that's kind of basically how you check yourself to see if you did it, right? Everything to me, I love checklists. Deliverables are a checklist. And then even when you start doing stuff, did you do it or not, right? These are just checklists. So to me, like if you didn't do it or finish something, it's because you just didn't do that one task. I don't know if you don't like doing it or I don't know, your computer broke or the power went out. I'm not sure, but that's kind of me. That's like why there's no like review of everything. It's just a checklist of a yes, no. And that's why my reflection is more just a rah-rah speech to myself. So let me show you 2 other tools that I do use. So I use Google Calendar and I also use just for writing. So what I will do is I write the name of whatever book. So Vanilla and Vendettas is what I just turned in. So I started writing that on November 12th. And so I can see like my word count progress. I will just keep it in this super simple spreadsheet every day. And that is how I track everything down. I'm sorry, that's not the one I track. That's the one I'm working on right now. So I'm right now at 20,000 words. So you can see there were a few days there I just didn't write. So nothing happened. So I used to just write like kamikaze, just all try to do all day Saturday. And I can tell you that year I did that, I got nothing done. So that's why in my calendar every day, I try to do like some writing time each day. And if you just kind of chip away at it, it'll get there. And this has been a much better method for me. If any of you are thinking about writing a book or trying to do something like a really long-term project, instead of trying to do it all at once, like save it all up for a day, just do a little bit here and there and it'll definitely get done. I also use, if you're a writer, I use Pacemaker. So Pacemaker, you don't have to pay for it. I did pay for it just because otherwise everything's public. However, I don't know anybody who knows where the Pacemaker website is, so I probably didn't really need to pay for it anyway. But it's really nice for word count because I can put my words in and I can see, so I definitely keep them, I track them on this super easy Google Sheet. But in order to see how long it will take me, like how many books I can write in the year, I definitely put it inside of this because it will take the word count and just spread it out for me. Like if I only write 1,000 words every day, like you can see bullets and buttercream. If I write 1191 words every day, it will take me until February 14th to finish it. So over here in my tracker, I can see like how many words I usually write every day. That's probably a little ambitious, but then I can at least put a better estimate in. So those are all the tools that I use for everything. I will stop sharing the screen so you can see that. All right. I think those are all the comments. So that is my process if you are still here. Hopefully that was helpful to you and you are going to simplify your process. Remember the planning should really just take like not even a day. If it takes any longer than that, just start working on something and see how it goes. Because a lot of the time I will work on something and then I'll change my mind about it later on. So yeah. All right, so I will see you guys. Do I have an unboxing? I don't even think I didn't make an unboxing for this Saturday. We'll see. I have one sitting on my shelf ready to go. And then I will see you guys next Monday for virtual co-working. All right, I hope everyone's having a fabulous day and I will talk to you later. Bye.